My name is Hanna Susi-Taival. I'm head of the government's subsidies government's grant unit. It's still learning new titles, and my colleague Laura Pajunen will also be here helping us and in the questions section later on. And we go through some slides, and then you can ask the questions. So that is our agenda for this info. So I think we start and go through our slides first. And I think you can, no, you can't see this, I'm sorry, because I started from the wrong angle. Just a moment. Just a moment. Now I think, now it's working. Yes. So, info briefing about our artist grants. This is the subject of this info. And first a bit about this change, which happened at the beginning of this year. So we are under a new name now, Finnish Arts and Culture Agency. And the new name came from this merge. So Taike and the National Audiovisual Institute merge on 1st of January this year. And we form now the Finnish Arts and Culture Agency. And all calls for applications like this artist grant call for application, they are now and will be later on, of course, also published under the new name. We still have the current Arts Council structure. There will be more changes during this year, but this current structure will remain in place until the end of June this year. So that means that the current National Arts Councils will decide on the awarding of artist grants. So if you apply now an artist grant from us, the current system is still working, and the new structure then will be introduced later, or have been of course already introduced, but it will be working from the 1st of July this year. And this is still a picture of this current structure, which will be old structure later this year. So these blue sectors here, the blue National Arts Councils, are the ones who make decisions about these artist grants. So 7 National Arts Council making the decisions. And this is our repertoire about grants. We already had a couple of call for applications. They are closed already. The January calls, and then we have the application period for regional grants ending next week. We had an info about that earlier, and you can find from our YouTube channel info about also that in the info from our YouTube channel if you want to have more information about regional grants. But now this info is about artist grants. And application period started on Monday this week, and it will go on until 1st of April. Wednesday will be the day, 1st of April. And decisions we will made by the end of June this year. And what is an artist grant? Artist grants are intended to support the professional artistic work of artists in different fields of the arts and arts journalists also. And registered communities, private traders, toiminimi, yrittäjät, and working groups comprised of individuals are not eligible to apply. So this is only for individual artists, this artist grant. And grant funds may not be transferred to the account of a company or community. And it's important to know and Remember that the period of use begins next year, the 1st of January 2027. So if you apply a half-year artist grant, it also begins next year. So it's not a grant for this year. It can start earliest the 1st of January 2027. And if you apply a half-year artist grant, you make the selection on the application form if you want the grant starting on 1st of January next year or 1st of July next year. There are two options for that. And like I said, the National Arts Councils will make these grant decisions based on presentation by a special advisor. And applicants may be awarded only one artist grant from the same call for applications. Only one. These grants are not available to applicants who will continue to receive in 2027 a multi-year artist grant previously awarded by DIKE. And also who have a previously postponed artist grant available for use in 2027. So we don't pay and award two artist grants at the same time. So if you have a full year or part of year artist grant already for next year, if you have postponed your artist grant, for example, so that you can use it in 2027, so then we are not awarding you another one for that year. And if you are awarded a supplementary artist pension, then you can't apply for this grant. Grant periods and amount. The amount of each artist grant as of the beginning of 2026 is €249.02 per month, and this is paid monthly. And this is the amount the beginning of this year, and there will be a small raise in October, but we will announce it later, the sum for next year, but it's not going to be that big. And it's paid monthly, and this money is also tax-free. Artist grants may be awarded for a period of half year, 1 year, 3 years, or 5 years. So those are the options for the length of the artist grant. And 5-year artist grants may also be awarded in the form of an artist professor grant. So that's a special form. If you apply for a 5-year artist grant, then this special form is also possible for certain applicants. And applicants must select on the application form all the grant periods that they are ready to accept. This is very important. So if you will accept all lengths of the grant, then please mark all, select all periods. So we can only award such period you have applied from us. All grant periods can be applied for using the same application form. So you can tick all the boxes if you want to do that. And do that if it's the same for you, which would be the length of your grant period. And the work plan must cover the entire grant period that is being applied for. And a little bit about the pension insurance. The grant recipient is obligated to pay the statutory pension insurance contribution in accordance with the applicable Farmers' Pensions Act, which covers also grant recipients. And the premium percentage rate it varies from 13 to 25 of the total amount of the grant. And the amount of the insurance premium is based on the recipient's age and computational annual earnings as stipulated in the insurance decision. So we can't say in euros, which is the sum, because it varies. The insurance must be applied for within 3 months of the beginning of the grant period. So you get the money, whole money from us and then you apply the insurance and pay the insurance. Insurance application should be submitted to the Farmers Social Insurance Institution, so Mela in Finnish. And the information about our grants goes to Mela, and then it's your duty to apply the insurance within 3 months of the beginning of the grant period. But if you forgot to do that, then Mela will contact you later about your insurance. Paid employment during grant period. If you receive 1 year or longer artist grant from us, you must take a leave of absence from regular paid employment during the grant period, if the grant is awarded for 1 year or longer. Full-time employment is permitted during the grant period only for recipients of half-year grants. And then part-time paid employment is permitted during the grant period for up to 10 hours per week or on a 30% contract. So that amount of part-time jobs, paid employment you can do when using your artist grant if the length is 1 year or longer. And what is mandatory? In the application form mandatory attachment, CV of the applicant is always mandatory attachment when you make your application. If you work in the visual arts, design, illustration, comics, photographic art, then you must always also include 3 to 5 images of your artist's work. And then if you work with media art, for example, then you can of course link videos, and then remember to put the link all the passwords so that we can open the link if you give us a link to the publishing platform. So any password should be included, and remember to check that the link or links works. Some numbers about our grants in 2025. The amount of applications, the amount of applicants, and the grants awarded. So you can see that in every section, the competition is quite tough. Every year, in every call for applications, we get more applications which fill in the criteria than we have the money to give away. So that's the situation in every call for applications. And artist grants, or the beginning, those who began in 2025. So you can see that almost 4,000 applicants and around 300 grants were awarded. And then how to apply. We have been transforming our call for applications to this new system, and the artist grants is now the last call for applications in the new system. So if you haven't applied project grant from us or not regional grant now, then you might use this for first time. This Applyforgrants.fi, this service. This is the service for all governmental institutions. So not only for us, not only for arts and culture field, but the whole governmental system. And you can find our all calls for applications there. And remember our new name, Finnish Arts and Culture Agency. Links to the system you can also, all call for applications you can also find from our website. We still have our old website, taike.fi. And please allow yourself enough time to become familiar with the new system. And if you are first time there, even more time. Because it's new. And things look different, of course, and system is different. One of the first selections you have to make when you begin filling the application, in the application, there is a section where you must select from grant applicant. Under grant applicant, you must select, I am applying for a grant for myself or to the working group I represent. Of course, working groups are not eligible in this call for applications, but remember, select this choice there under grant applicant. Applications must be received by the end of the application period always. Yeah, please do not leave it to the last day. Start early and then also finish early. And if you have questions to us, you have to contact our customer service. The last days of the application period will be quite hurry and full of calls and emails. So if you want to make sure that you get an answer, for example, to your question, then please be early with filling your application. And what you can do is that during the application period, you can change something in your application after you have sent it first to us. So applications can be amended during the application period, even after they are submitted. So it is recommended to submit your application early and then amend as necessary before the end of the application period. So if you remember something that you want to put something there you didn't, or some things change during the application period, you can make the changes in your application form. But then after the application period has ended, then you have to contact us if you need to amend your application. So then there is a change. But during this period, feel free to amend things or to change things in your applications if needed. And the new system looks like this when you go to the website. And it says there also that all government grant calls in one place. Applyforgrants.fi. And first you select the name of our new name, Finnish Arts and Culture Agency. And when you search by that, then you will find the calls for applications. And some things about the system, and also first about the call for applications. It's in 4 parts in this system. There's a screenshot also from those parts. Basic informations, objectives of the call is one part. Then criteria for awarding, on what grounds grants can be awarded, another part or second part. Then assessment criteria, on what grounds applications are reviewed and compared to others, third part, third section. And then the fourth section is additional terms, period of use of the grant and another possible terms and conditions. So these are the 4 parts. And you see there also standard terms and conditions. So this is kind of a new part if you have been applying grants from us earlier also. And remember to read this also. It includes detailed information on the general terms of using the grant. So earlier this information was a part of the decision letter if you were awarded a grant. But now it's already in the call for applications. So take also time to read through the standard terms and conditions. And then there is this applying for a grant, and that's the path to go to fill in your application form. But first you should remember to add your bank details. And if you have now applied other grants from us already through this new system, then you have done this already. But if you are first time in the new system, so go first to the place which is your profile. You'll find that from the top left menu, you find your profile, and under your profile you find the place to put your bank details. This information must be there when you submit your application form. So this is wise to do first when you start to do this. And you can, of course, add the bank details in any stage, but it could be wise to do it first. Some examples from the application form or some pieces of advice. There is a question: what purpose is the grant applied for? Which will be a public description. Awarded grants will be published on the tutkiavustuksia.fi service. This is another part of this whole governmental system. And for that, this is the place you should only use only few words, which is the intended use of the grant. I think we have quite how to say, simple info and advice also in the application form, which you should write in here, but only in few words the intended use of the grants, because it will be published. Then another question which we want to point out is this regional targeting for the use of the grant, which you must select on the form. And our advice is that think where the grant will be primarily be used, because of course you can only select one of those categories, and of course it might happen that you work in some municipality, but your work is international. So then what would you choose? So think about where it will be primarily be used. And then when you search municipality or municipalities, then the next box opens, and then you can select one or all municipalities from there, or regions, the same system, or international. You can choose the country. We also have another own question about your international connections and work. So it's not only this question about the international things. So it's also possible that you, in this question, you choose municipality or region, and then in the next question, you can answer that yes, my work is international, and then we ask also that in which way it's international, because that's important thing for us, for our statistics also. And it can happen that the application goes locked. And once the application has been amended, remember to click on quit. So you should always click quit when you change from one page to another, or one section to another in the application form. If you amend another section of the application, the section will automatically unlock. And then when it's unlocked, you can now amend this section. But always remember to click save and quit both. So then there will be no locks. And then we are already in the end. You have wrote your application and answered to all questions. And then if you don't see the button active, this management of the application, which is a sign button, that should be active when you have filled in everything and answered every question. We have quite a lot of mandatory questions there. Almost everything is mandatory. But if this is not active, this button, then it means that the application is missing mandatory information. That's information for you. And then you should check, make sure that you have answered all the mandatory questions. Then if you have selected an attachment from your computer, make sure you have clicked on upload an attachment. So you have to upload it also. You first select what you want to attach, and then you must upload it also. That might be one possibility if your management of the application is not active, that your attachment is not uploaded. And make sure that you have included your account details, your bank details also. This was the thing that you should do first, so then you don't have to remember it anymore. And when this management of the application goes active, then it's the time to submit your application. And first you sign, and then you send, and then it's done. And then you will get an email that your application is submitted, and that from that you know that you have done it. First sign and then send. And still a checklist about the information, important information. So please read the call for applications and the standard terms and conditions carefully. Take time to read all these things. There is a lot of important information for you. And like I said, this is new system, maybe not all for you all if you have applied previous grants through this system. But if it's a new system for you, please start early, apply in time, leave time to ask customer service for assistance if you need it. We have many applications to process, so be clear and concise and provide only information that is requested in the call for applications. Describe your plan for using the grant, what, where, when, those questions, for example, in a way that it is easy for anyone to understand. State clearly how you intend to use the grant if it's awarded to you. And describe your artistic activities concisely and only as relevant to your applications. And remember that members of the board may be familiarizing themselves with your work for the first time. Remember to include mandatory attachments, and the CV is always mandatory. And keep in mind that your application is a public document, so that it should not include confidential personal data, like your, for example, things about your health. And the last day for this call for applications is Wednesday, 1st of April. Now it's easy to remember because it's 1st of April, and the system closes at 4 p.m. But please be early, and you can make changes in your application if you have submitted it during this application period. Also remember that, so you can send it early, and if needed, then make also changes before the application period ends. And questions you can ask from our customer service, asiakaspalvelu or at kuvi.fi, and then the telephone number for our customer service. It has changed in the beginning of this year. If you have called to our customer service earlier, last year or the previous years, so now we have new telephone number for our customer service. And everything you can find also from our website, all links to the system, to this new system also, and all information you can find from there. And in the new system, Applyforgrants.fi, everything is in 3 languages: Finnish, Swedish, and English. So that's also a change, that now everything is in 3 languages. And if you haven't subscribed to our newsletter, please do that also. That's one way to get information from us also. Now it's time for the questions section, and with Laura we will go through them what you want to ask from us. Are there any questions already?
Yes, there are. Yes, there are. Thank you, Hanna, and thank you for all of your questions. We'll go through them, and I'm going to read them aloud because of the recording. I'm just going to scroll to the first one. Okay, so the first one is, can one apply two different categories still whilst knowing one can only receive one for this call, so one grant? Or is this just looking split focus? And then there's another question in the same question, actually. The 5-year grant named professor, does it entail academic connection?
Okay, I'll start with the last one. No, it has nothing to do with the academic. It's artistic work, and it's for, now I actually don't know the words from the law in English, but how to say, erittäin ansioitunut, very well esteemed artists, maybe something like that. But no academic connection at all. It's purely artistic work. Can I only apply to different categories? If you are asking about the time, you can you can select all lengths if you want to select all lengths in the application form. But you have to select one art field if you are asking about this. That you must select if it's visual art or if it's media art or whatever it is. So you select one, but you can select all the lengths. So then if you awarded a grant, the Arts Council will decide what is the length for your grant if you have selected all. So, and when we can only award that length you have selected in your application form. So did I answer to all questions now? Maybe.
Yes, I think so. Okay, so the next one is, do visual arts cover video production, specifically music video production from filming to editing? Can I apply for a grant to support me in that activity?
Music video production. Now that's a question that should you apply from the section of music or from the section of audiovisual arts. So we have media art and cinema in the same arts council. So this is a choice you have to make. That is your work. Do you want your application go to the music council or to the audiovisual council, which is for cinema and media art? So that choice you must make yourself.
Yes, and the next one, does Mela know the grant start and end dates? Do we need to inform them when our grant period ends?
Yes, they know what we have awarded to you. I don't actually know what they ask in the special form when you apply the insurance from them. But they have all the information about the length and when your grants start and so on. Yes.
Yes, but you have to apply it from Mela yourself.
Yes.
Yep. What are the attachments needed for performing arts and literature?
The CV is the only mandatory, your artistic CV. And then I think we have one place there in the application form for like another, if you want to add another some important attachment. But for example, we don't ask for recommendations. And of course, you can send one, but we don't ask them. So if you have some important attachment, so you can add one, but CV is the only mandatory.
And actually, there was a question related to this a little bit further. There was a question of about letter of intent or recommendation letter, and you can also put those into that other attachment slot if you want to attachment that kind of attachments to your application, but they are not mandatory, as Hanna said. So I'll submit for the call for artist grant. Where can I write activities in the year 2026? So previous activities.
Yes. We ask about your previous artistic work also in the application form, so that's the place for those.
Yes, and specifically it's on the details of the applicant section, that question. Reattachment as a person with international background, can we refer to that, or is it mainly things that you have engaged in Finland? I think they're meaning this kind of thing. Yeah. And furthermore, can one apply whilst being in any part of full-time advanced studies?
Of course, it's good to tell all about your artistic background. It's wherever it has happened earlier, previous artistic background. So not only engage with like Finnish things or in Finland. So please tell everything about yourself, which is important information from your artistic work. So and then this question about studies. We don't. This is like not for studies. It's a different thing that this will be not be awarded for studies, but then if you are a student in some place of your artistic career, then it's kind of a different thing. Being a student and if you apply for studies are two different things. But if you are a student, you should have artistic background, of course, previous artistic background. About studies, aren't there, Laura, in the call for applications, there is written about things. Now I just ask you because I don't. Everything is not in my head, even though I try to keep everything in my head. Something about studies is also said there.
We say in the call for applications that artist grants are not awarded for studies, thesis, or related costs related to a vocational arts degree or a lower or higher university degree.
Yes. So the restrictions are there. Yeah.
Yes. So what is then the regional grant that has a deadline March 11th? Is it more for group projects rather than individual work?
So that's a totally, no, not totally, but almost totally different grant. I can say it briefly. So it's not it's like money. You apply money. You can apply that also for short working periods. It's only for the length. The longest length is 6 months. Or then you can apply it for projects, and you can apply it as a working group for a project. So it's quite different grant as this artist grant is. So and this regional grant you can use this year, also next year, but you can start to use it this year. Artist grant is from the beginning of the next year always, and you apply for time with the working plan. So go to read the call for applications if you are interested about that, but it's quite different grant, but open still for until next week. Yes, deadline March 11th. Yes.
Then next question, what purpose is the grant applied for? The public description question. This part is up to 2,000 characters, but should it be much shorter if thinking a few words? And I can say briefly, yes, don't look at the characters. Unfortunately, this is that kind of question that we cannot affect to, but we would like you to write brief summarization, very briefly, what you're going to apply the grant for. Not 2,000 characters, please.
We didn't select the 2,000 characters. Yes.
Okay, then next, what is the percentage redivision between the different grant lengths? Is there any recommendations of the length as a first-time applicant? Of course, one would like to have longer time if possible.
First I say that go to look the previous decisions our arts councils have made. You can find them from our website. So there you can see how many 5-year grants, how many 3-year, because it stays quite the same from year to another. in different arts councils. So that's the good place for that kind of information. And if you are a first-time applicant, yes, I could say that I think I could say that it's not common that the first-time applicant would get a 5-year grant. That's I can say. So it's but it would be wise for you to select different lengths. So put all the lengths there. So then the Arts Council will have the possibility to also award you a shorter grant if they want to do that.
Then can I apply for 2 different projects using 2 separate applications?
One application, no 2 applications, but 1 applications. So mark those 2 projects in your working plan. Of course, your working plan can be many projects. If you apply for 5-year grant, it might be a lot of projects, but yes, put them there, but only 1 application.
How likely is it that a new, not well-known artist in Finland will receive a grant rather than the grant reviewer already knowing the artist and their work?
Of course, the Arts Council, they make the decisions. And if you are a new artist here and you haven't applied from us previously, then try to tell everything in your applications that they can get. They really get the full picture of you and your work. So that then they know enough also about you than maybe some artists, they have already read applications. Of course, we have applications from same artist every year, that's for sure. But try to frame a whole picture of you and your artistic work in application and give us relevant information about your like of course your whole career, but also the kind of the work these days and what is happening now in your career and what would happen if you were awarded a grant and so on.
Next, will every part of the application be available publicly if the grant is awarded, meaning like CV, specific grant usage, etc.?
This is a good question. Only certain information goes to this tutkiavustuksia.fi. So there will be a name now, Laura, if you can help me. There will be a name and
Amount.
The amount or the length in this material length. And will there be the place where the person lives? Is that also in this information? Now, actually, now I'm not. Now I can't remember sure, but only certain pieces of this kind of core information will be published in tutkiavustuksia.fi. That is actually law which defines what information there will be. So that is quite highly regulated. And yes, but then it's another thing that the application is a public document. So the whole application is a public document when you send it to governmental office. So if that's the reason there shouldn't be your personal data like health data or something, because it is a public document, but only this certain couple of information will be published about the awarded grants. But now I really don't actually now remember what is this information. If somebody from our team can go to check it from tutkiavustuksia.fi, so we can clarify that also.
And actually, you will find more information about the how public the grant application is and etc. from the standard terms and conditions. It is attached to the notice for call or call for applications. It is the next part next to the call for applications, and it is 1.5 publicity of the government grant decision and grant details. It specifies what parts are public in your grant application. Then next question. One can work 10 hours or 30%. Can one equally study part-time beside the artwork applied for here?
Yes, it's possible, but remember that these grants are not awarded for studies or not for thesis or so on. That's what the section Laura read earlier from the call for applications, so that you should remember.
And there are no further questions, but you still have time if there's something you would like to ask or comment or something. And you can always also contact our customer service as well if some questions pop into your mind after this info session.
So I was just now because I should know about the data which is published there in tutkiavustuksia.fi, and so I actually now I'm checking it, and one information is that I'm checking if there are things also in English. Yes, I'm not aware if everything is in English. There should be, I think, but if somebody knows it better, please tell me, because I haven't had time to check this that much, this system. But do you have some, we still have some questions or time for questions?
If you have any questions related to technical matters, specifically, you can also contact State Treasury. You will find their contact information on the call for applications from the first section named Basic Information. It is quite in the middle of the page, and you will find their phone number there and also their email address there. So you can also contact them if it's really specifically a technical question. I think there are no questions left.
It seems so, and you can always contact our customer service. There's some questions about the language here.
Okay. Okay, so how relevant to Finland and Finnish arts should the grant purpose be? Can it be used, for example, working in another country?
Yes, of course it can be, yes.
Yes, and there was a previous question actually. Does it matter what language the artwork would entail? Here we can read in Finnish, English, and Swedish.
Doesn't matter what language the artwork would entail. You mean that you would use another language than these three in your artwork? Of course, that's also possible, but the application you should write in Finnish, English, or Swedish. If you have no further questions, then we thank you and ask you to contact our customer service if you have later on questions. And the last thing is that take time to be familiar with the new system and to fill in your application form. Okay, good afternoon to you all. Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye-bye.